Hi everyone! Today I'm going to show you how I made this stunning unfold card, and this stands alone on its own like so, and it's just basically all about the size of the card and the scoring and then dressing it exactly how you want to dress it. So for this card I'm using a couple of ink pads, the Very Perry in the VersaFine ink pad and the Distress Oxide, the Scattered Straw. So we'll be using those in a little while. I've got all my bits already cut out, so I'll pop those to one side. I'll go through them as we go along. I'm using an embossing folder. This one is called the Beaded Diamonds, and that's a 3D embossing folder. The cardstock that I'm using is 12 inches in width and 6 inches in depth, so that's a white piece of cardstock. I've cut a few florals and I've taken that from the Floral Finery Dotty Tips, and I used the 4-petal florals on that one. So that's that one. I've cut myself out a couple of the Beautifully Beaded, which is, they cut out like this and they are absolutely stunning. They're very delicate. So I've cut them out in the cream, and this colour is what I'm calling, it's more of a cornflower purpley blue colour. So that's the Beautifully Beaded, and that's in the hearts. I've cut myself out a couple of the swirly bits and I've cut them out in the cream. Excuse me, I've got paint on my thumb. We're renovating and I'm just covered in paint all the time at the moment. I've also cut myself out a few of the fern leaves from the Fir and Holly Sprigs. So just because this is a Christmas set doesn't mean that you can't use certain elements of Christmas dies on other cards. So I've done those in the cornflower blue. I cut a set of the Lush leaves in the cream colour. I just get that one a minute. So this is the Lush leaves, and that's how they cut out. They're quite a nice size. With the hearts, I've cut out number 4 in the cornflower colour and number 5 in the cream. So that's those cut out. The cardstock that I've used in the corn colour and the cream is from the Crolando cardstock, and this is beautiful. The Crolando cardstock, which comes from Lidl's, it is beautiful cardstock. It's about 270 GSM and it's absolutely stunning, the colours that you get within it. So we'll just pop that one to one side, and I will be using the Duet Collection stamps and coordinating dies. This is the essential set, and we will be choosing a couple of those sentiments there. So that's all the products that I'll be using. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take in my scoring board, and with my piece of 12 by 6 inch piece, I'm going to lay that down longest edge across the top, and I'm going to score this across at 2.5, 3, 5 3/4, and 6 1/4. And then I'm going to rotate my cardstock and I'm going to score that down at 2.5 and 3. So what you should end up with is 3 sets of 2 score lines. You might be able to see that better on the opposite side. So that's all we need the scoring board for. Now with the centre score lines, if you fold the first one in on itself, make sure you get that nicely lined up and give that a really nice burnish. and the other center one, fold that one in as well, making sure that's all nicely lined up, and give that one a nice burnish. So what we've ended up with now is this centerpiece, and then again with one end, the inner score line sewed in on itself, and then the outer score line sewn back. So we've now ended up with this shape. So if we do exactly the same again with the inner score line, sew that in towards the center of the card, and then the second score line sewed out. So what we've ended up with now is this beautiful shaped card that stands alone. This is what it looks like, and then when it's stood up it looks like this. And what I like about this card is if you fold the two sides back, this will go into a 6 by 6 envelope. So there we go. So that's all we need to do to make our card base, and now it's all about decorating. And the first thing I thought I would do is I would take in my embossing folder, and I'm going to emboss all my strips. Now these cream strips are for the inner sections of the card, and these measure 2.5 in width by 5 3/4 in depth, and you're going to need 2 of those. And I'm just going to see if that will fit both of those on this. No, so I'm going to have to run this through twice. I want to get that completely lined up nicely, so I'm going to pop that down the bottom. I'm going to very quickly run that one through. And then this is how this looks once it's been embossed. So I'm going to go ahead and do that with my second piece. I'm going to line that up in the same place as I did the first one. So there's our second one, and that's for our 2 center panels. Now for the outer panels, these are slightly smaller. These are 2 inches by, excuse me, 5 3/4. So we might be able to get both of those on one pass. So again, you're going to need 2 of those. Just get those lined up the same, and we'll quickly run that one through. There's our panels for the outside of the card. So that's those. And I'm debating whether or not to emboss the biggest heart. I think we'll give it a go and see what it looks like. So there's our biggest heart embossed. So pop that one to one side. I'm not going to emboss the smaller one. So that's all the embossing done. So if we take in our card base, so as I say, this is the front of the card. So open that out. We're not putting any mats and layers on this card. I'm going to pop this down with some double-sided tear tape. So just going to run a few lines of tear tape. Give those a really nice burnish. You can remove those back-ends. And then any straggly bits, just turn them over. I'm going to get this one lined up. Give that one a nice press down. Same with the second one. And then we'll get this one lined up. So that's the two end panels. So with the cream panels, just pop that to one side. I've taken out the VersaFine Very Perry, which is the VersaFine Claire. And all I'm going to do with this is rub my ink pad over my embossed image. And can you see how that really picks up the tips of that embossing? Now don't worry if you don't get every single little morsel. It's just all about getting some of that with some colour. Absolutely beautiful, and that just changes that up and takes that to the next level to dry. So I'm just going to pop that to one side for a second. Taking my foam mat, and as I said, I cut myself out some florals from the Floral Finery collection. I'll just get all these. I've cut out the smallest, which I'm going to have as singles, and I've cut out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All I'm going to do with these, with my ball tool and the small end, I'm just going to curl them up. There's 2 there, so just curl those up. And these small ones. So we've got 3 2 petals, and I think we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tiny little dotty flowers. So we'll pop those to one side because we've finished with those. With the double petal ones, a nice squash down. So this is a really nice shaped card. You can dress this up as much as you want to. The only thing I would say is that, yes, it can go in an envelope, but I think it's one of those cards that I would make a box for. So we'll just pop those to one side and let those dry. We can now take back in our card and get these panels adhered. So as I always say, the reason I'm using double-sided tear tape is because I don't want this card to warp, and eventually over time it will warp if you put glue straight onto your card base. Give those a nice burnish. Let me just remove those back ends. I don't know if I think I did tell you going back a couple of months ago that we were moving house, and the property that we have bought needed some work doing to it. And we're right at the stage now where the kitchen's ready to be fitted. So we've been here now 12 weeks. And we've done quite a lot of work, new windows, complete new bathroom. Every room's been decorated now. albeit did say to my husband, I think give it 6 months, I'll be decorating it all again. I can't believe the amount of dust that doing up a property creates. I know I definitely want to do the hallway again, because the hallway is the thorough through for everything that goes on. And yes, even after 12 weeks it's starting to look a little bit sorry for itself. So I think I will be doing that. Once the floor goes down in the hallway, I think I'll be doing it again. And any straggly bits, always make sure you tuck them under. And then this one, line this one up. Get that one down. So there's our card base. Now with our purple heart, this one is going to sit on this panel in the center, and I'm going to pop this on with some foam pads. I'm going to see where I want that one to go, roughly about there. I'm going to pop the foam pads onto the card rather than the heart, because I need to get this exactly right. So we'll remove that one. I'm just going to pop down 2. And then with the heart, if we get the point and the center level, there's our heart. So this is what we're looking like at the moment. And then with our smaller heart, I am going to pop that one up with some foam pads. So with this one, just pop some foam pads over the back. Take those backings off. And because this has been embossed, I'm just going to pop a tiny bit of glue on the back of those. That way, if the pads don't grab, the glue will. And this one is going to sit in the center just there. So this is how this card is looking at the moment. So now it's all a case of dressing this up. Now, as I said, I did cut some beautifully beaded. Now I've had to cut 2 of these because this isn't quite big enough for this heart. So if we just snip that one in the corner, I'm going to leave that intact as it is, and I'm going to go all the way around the edge with the glue. What I'm going to attempt to do is get that one in place. And because these are so delicate, you can manipulate these to wherever you want these to go. So that one, hopefully, with the embossing, they will stick. So there's that one. Lovely. So that's that one. Hopefully that's going to grab. As I said, I did cut another one. Pop the point down there. I'm going to chop this one off just there. and just there. I wouldn't throw that away because it's too pretty. Look at some glue on the back of this one. So with the beautifully beaded, you know, you can chop them up and turn them into different shapes if you want to. And then with the smaller heart, we've got the purple one. So if we just get some glue on the back of that one. As I say, they are very delicate and it is quite a fiddly job, but it's well worth it. Get this one nicely lined up. So we've got both our hearts. Look how stunning that looks already. Both our hearts on there. I've got my 3 florals. Now I was going to put one maybe in that corner, one in that corner, and one in the middle. So I get those down. And just try and, if you're embossing your heart, try and find a little area that's flat so that it'll glue. And then this one's going to go up in this corner. This one's going to go in the center of our heart. Give that one a nice squash down. Keep lifting up your work and having a look to see how things are going. And then I was just going to dot a few of these single ones around. So again, lift that up, have a quick look. Now I've got some ferns which I'd like to pop in. Take my pokey tool and just give that one a tiny bit of shape and bend the bottom. Pop some glue on the back of there. This one is going to go under there. And then I've got another one. Give that one some shape. Bend the bottom of that one. Pop some glue on the back. And this one is going to sit under the leaf here. Give that one a squash down. And then with this one, I'm going to chop off these bottom leaves because they're too many. It's too long. With my pokey tool, just going to give that one some shape and lift that bottom one up. Pop some glue on the back of there. And now I think I'm going to go at the top and to the right with this one. That one a squash down. And then again, chop the bottom leaves off that one. Give this one some shape. Tuck that under. And this one is going to go this way. So that's how we're looking with that. I've also got the twiddly bits. So I'm going to just give those a tiny bit of shape. I might actually chop this down a bit too long. Give that one a bend. And this one, I'm going to poke in just there. And again, chop the bottom off of that one. Give that one some shape. Bend the bottom up. So this is a really, really easy card to make, and it's so effective. It's beautiful. And if you do all your prep first, then it's just a case of popping it all together, and for me that's when I'm having fun. Now, I don't know if this one is actually, no, I think that's perfect. I thought it would be too blue, but it's actually quite pretty. So for the bigger beautifully beaded elements, I'm going to put the biggest, turn some of those over, and let's have a look and see how many we're going to pop on here. So we're going to have one just there. We need one over on this side. Now you don't have to fill in every single bead if you don't want to. You can put as few or as little as you want to. So there's one. There's a second one. Got another one just there. And there is another big one actually under that leaf, which I think I'd like to do. Now you can put these on before you put all your florals on if you want to, but then sometimes I think you're popping your pearls in places where they're not going to be seen. So it's almost like it's a waste. Oops. That one just there. So we've got 4 of the bigger ones. I'm now going to go for some smaller clear diamond ones for the next size down. So that will be 1, 2, 3, 4. There's one under there. 5. I can see one there. 6. So we'll just go with those at the moment. So 1. Another one there. The trouble is when you start lifting these up, you find lots more. So that's those. And now I'm going to use the tiniest ones. Just do a couple a minute and see what they're like. So I've got a white one there. So as you notice, the beads are going down in size. Just going to pop one there. It's almost like that one is crying out for one. Put some tiny ones out. I think we need one there, and one there. So it's another 3. 1, 2, 3. So that's those 3. And if you're selling your cards, this is when you need to charge that little bit extra for them. When you think about it, how expensive your beads and things are these days. Everything seems to be skyrocketing. One there, so that's those. Now with the cream florals, I'm gonna pop a tiny, smallest of the cornflower colour. So that's just 3 of those. Right, 1. The pokey tool, squash that one down. Give that one a squash down. And give that one a squash down. Yeah, I'm really quite pleased with that. Let's just pop all these back in the tub. With the blue, I'm just gonna pop some glue on the biggest ones. I'm not going on all of them. I'm just doing, I think there's four big ones there. And I'm just gonna pop some glitter on those. So got that one, that one, that one. Did we catch that one? We have now. Beautiful. All about the bling. And then if you want to, I think I'm going to leave the tiny flowers as they are, I think. I don't think flowers always have to, especially the tiny ones, don't always have to have a centre to them. How stunning does that look? Absolutely gorgeous. I think what I will do though is add some glitter to all these twiddly bits. So this is how our card's looking at the moment. And I'm going to put my sentiments down the sides. Just going to pop that over to one side a minute. And if I take in my sentiment, I'm going to have just for you on your special day. So, just for you. Is the first one. And I've got some scraps of the cream card. Just pop that one down. Pick that one up. And I am going to use, because we're using cream card, I'm going to use the VersaFine Claire Very Perry ink. So get that one nicely inked up. So just for you. And that's that one. And I said we were going to have on your special day. So again, get that one nice and level. Pick that one up. Hoping that's gonna, actually if I do it on an angle, it should be fine. Ink that one up. That one a nice press down. On your special day. Clean that one off. Pop that one straight back. So that's those. And then, as I said, with this you get the corresponding dies. To cut these out. I'm taking my cutting plates. So I'm going to have that one and that one. This is the biggest one, I think, for this. Oh, hang on. On your special day. Nope. That goes that way. And this one. Don't think it's that one. Not that one, not that one. It might be that biggest one actually. Let's have a look. Yeah. Looks about right. I'm just going to take a tiny piece off there. Get that in place. I'm going to stick that to the die rather than the cardstock, and that should hold that in place. And we'll do the same on that one. Stick that to the die and the outer of the cardstock. Get my plates on and quickly I'll run those through. There we go. So hit there. So there's one. And there's the second one. So just are ready for the bin. And all I thought I would do is this one would go here and this one would go over here. So, a couple of foam pads on the back of that one. Take the backings off of those. I can't wait till I can get to that point again where I can go and have my nails done and my hands don't feel like rough builder's hands. I'm going to get that one just central, just there. And this one again. A few foam pads. And this one, I'll try and get that just so that it's half and half with the one on the opposite side. So just for you on your special day. So this is how this looks. When it's stood up, it looks like this. There's plenty of room to write whatever message you want to on the back. And what I would be inclined to do if I was doing this is pop, because I've got these spare, what I think I'll do just to finish this card off, sometimes it's just all about going that extra mile, if you like. It just looks like it needs something to finish off that front. So I'm just going to pop some glue all down the back of that one. Decide which way you want this to go. Actually, I think we'll start from the... No, I won't. Start from the top. I'm going to go and tweak that so that that lays nice and straight. Put that underneath there. Put that straight. We can chop that off in a minute. And then this one, how long is that? So I take a tiny bit off the bottom of that one and then chop that one down there. Pop some glue on the back of that one. And this one, gonna in line with the point. There we go. And I can turn this over and just chop off any overhang. Oh, I think that one moved. Oh no, that's fine. And if you want to, you can pop some pearls on those as well. But I think that is all I want to do to this card. Let's just move all this out the way, how it looks. And if I was going to pop this in the post, I would turn this around on itself and just pop that in a 6x6 envelope. As I say, plenty of room to write whatever you want on the back. Yeah, really, really pleased with that. It's come out beautiful. Anyway, hope you enjoyed my little video. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a go at this. It is an absolutely gorgeous, fun shape. Yeah, there's no way I can show you this without popping that one there. And maybe one there. Well, I hope you enjoyed my little video. Thank you for watching. And until the next time, bye for now.